Hi friends, welcome to part 3 of your downward facing dog breakdown. In this practice, we'll actually be going into downward facing dog. We are combining what you've already learned to get into down dog. So let's get right into tabletop. Stack your shoulders in line with your wrist. See that your fingers are spread wide and your knees are stacked in line with your hips. Walk your palms one palm distance ahead of the shoulders. Keep the fingers spread as you shift your shoulders over your wrist. Curl your toes underneath behind you and start your pelvic tilts. So start to move your pelvis down towards the ground, arch the back, and then lengthen your pelvis and your tailbone, your sit bones down to the back of the thighs. So we are kind of fixed through the upper body, and the movement is just coming from the pelvis, so we can mobilize and move the pelvis. Try not to clench or grip around the hips. Just gently move your pelvis in this pelvic tilt forward and back, or you can think of up and down. So come back to your arched back. Come back to your arched back and start to lift your knees off of the mat. And then you'll notice that it's a lot more effort. Now shift the weight of your body out of your shoulders, out of your wrist, and keep your knees bent. And then come forward and have your knees on the ground again. Let's practice that again. With your hands in front of your shoulders, one palm distance, shoulders are over your wrist, toes are tucked underneath. Find the pelvic tilt where your back is arched. Now press into your hands, lift your knees, and start to shift your chest back to your thighs. Keep your knees bent. Keep your knees bent. And the first part of this practice, our knees were bent with a block behind the hamstring, behind the thigh. And then slowly begin to press your heel down to the ground on the right side, and then press the heel down on the left side to get more length in the hamstrings. If your hamstrings are responding like a big no, or it's a lot for them, keep your knees bent. Let's slowly come back down to the ground to reset. So you can pause and watch me as I show you downward facing dog in one smooth move again from your tabletop position. Shoulders under the wrist, spread your fingers wide. Walk your palms one palm distance ahead of the shoulders. Shift your shoulders over your wrist, curl your toes underneath. Find your pelvic tilt, arch the back, press into your hands, and then move your chest back to your thighs. Keep your knees bent. Your chest moves away from your thighs to take pressure off of your wrist. Feel your upper arms wrap forward, elbows down towards the ground. And one at a time, slowly straighten the heels if this is appropriate for your body right now. To come out of the pose, bend your knees, shift the weight forward into the hands, and find your way back into your tabletop position. All right, friends, practice your downward facing dog. And know that the way that it looks is only part of it, but how does it feel? Downward facing dog is a pose that will strengthen your entire body, and it will also build a lot of body awareness. So trust how you feel, but also trust that you're strong, and that the more that you practice this, the more efficient you will experience downward facing dog in your body. Peace.